What's up, guys, and welcome back to Planet Zoo, the Koalapalala edition. So, in this video, I've gone through and I've done some things off camera, which you'll probably recognize here. As you can see, I decided I was going to go ahead and reintroduce the bathrooms because I thought, the guests will probably want bathrooms. So I went ahead, threw those in there. I just hid them behind a wall, put a door in, and threw up some signage as we see I do here. And it was just something that I thought was necessary, being how there is a lot of walking in this habitat. I figured the guests would probably want some place to relieve themselves after a while. And here, what we're looking at is, I saw these pillars, and I was like, man, those are really ugly. So I decided I wanted to make like a rock formation to hide the supports for the path above us. And yeah, as you can see here, this was kind of a I thought that using these little vertical pieces and then just covering them up would be a good idea. And I got to thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute, we have those flat pieces. Why don't I just use those instead? So I got rid of all of those and I grab out one of them flat pieces, change it up a little bit, and boom, and that's good. Now what I can do is I can make it look natural from there. I can make it look like a natural rock formation. And the rocks are cohesive with the koalas, which was my big thing. Like I said, I want to keep everything as the koalas would like it. So I got the basic part, and I was like, okay, well, let's move it over. We'll just copy the basic. And from there, I'll just decorate each one out with foliage to make them different. So as you saw with the other one, I rotated it 180 degrees, that way you're not looking at the same side. And with the foliage, you can't even really tell that it's the same rock formation that was just turned over. So it came out really well, and that's the reason why I did the foliage last, was to that's like the final dressing of the disguise. You know, in the military, we've got the camouflage clothing, but if we're really trying to hide, we'll use foliage, fresh foliage, and we'll attach that foliage to our uniform, and that completes the camouflage. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm completing the camouflage for this rock uniform by putting in the foliage. And that's just, I mean, I'm always, being prior military, guys, understand that I've been institutionalized. I know I've been institutionalized. I recognize it. But that's just where my mind thinks when I come to things like that. I just automatically go to experiences in the military. And here's one of the things where I'm like, oh crap, I need to put in education stuff. So I was like, okay, well, we'll do the brown snake first. We'll change the color of the education board, and then we're just gonna move it around, sink it in a little bit, make it look like it's part of the exhibit, which is what I really wanted. I didn't want it to stick out so much where it was like, ugh, that's ugly, and I didn't want it to be so tall up that it got in the way of the actual exhibit, so I moved it around. Then I grabbed another Australian, the 1 meter piece, put it on a different grid. That way I can place it exactly how I wanted. And then I basically just repeated the process for the blue-tongued lizard. Again, I just used a different grid to hide the exhibit itself, that nasty, ugly brown of the exhibit. And there I was just checking to make sure that they were roughly the same distance off of the glass. And now it's like, well, I've got the staff coming in out of this wall. I should probably put a door there to make it more realistic. I ended up going with this Indian door, and I just changed the colors with it, just because there is no like Australian door, which is fine. I like the way the door came out. Just like I said, just changing the colors takes it from an Indian door to like a rainforest type door, which is what we see with the koalas. They love the trees, they love foliage, it's all good. And here I noticed that when I was screwing around with things, the ground got pushed down a little bit. So I was like, okay, well I need to cover that up. And instead of screwing with the terrain, which wouldn't work because I've got the pathing there in place, I just went ahead and built a cover to hide that crime. And so I was like, with these arches, if I put that like, I don't know, birch? I guess that's a birch tree log. I figured I'll put those on the arches just to give it some depth to the building. And I liked it so much I decided I was going to do it with all the arches to the building, just to have them there. And it really does come out rather nice. It's unique. It doesn't look like, how do I put it? It looks like they should be there, but they shouldn't. And oh, I keep forgetting I need to watch my my recording timeline, otherwise it skips out on me from time to time. But anyways, here I'm picking some lighting for the pathway, and I'm using the hanging lamps that come with the Australian pack, and I'm just sinking them in so they go right into those Aboriginal designs rather nicely. And it just makes them a part of the bridge, part of the signage. And here again, I don't like the path supports for this particular path, for the Australian path. So I was like, I'm gonna get rid of those, and I'm gonna create my own custom supports. Again, using that I'm just gonna call it birch tree logs. Using these logs, I was like, yeah, I'll just do that. So it took a little bit of time, but once I got into a groove, I was golden, and it came out really, really nice. I do like the way that these custom supports came out, but it was they were kind of a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna lie, but if it were easy, everyone would do it and it wouldn't be unique, right? So I took the time. I said, okay, I do want to do this. I'm going to do this, and it's gonna look good, and it did. I was not disappointed at all. And a lot of this, guys, I'm not gonna lie, it was, what am I gonna do? I need to spruce it up. What am I gonna do? And I had this idea for like parts of the raised walkway to be covered with man-made type stuff. So I used these fiberglass shield things, and I just supported them with those wooden poles there. And I screwed around quite a bit with these poles to get them looking right. I wanted them to be somewhat uniform, and I rushed through it pretty quickly at this stage. But it worked out in the long run. Well, what if I put something up on the top there, just to make it look more supported? And I get it into place, and I look at it, and I decide, I don't like it. And I end up getting rid of it. It's like, nope, don't like it. But I do want to move those poles around. I'm going to end up moving them in like that there. And they're all going to be moved in towards the center as we go through this build. And it's just one of those things, you'll hear Paulsley say it all the time, build one and then duplicate it over. And I do that with a lot of my stuff, but a lot of the times I just like to go with the flow, see what works. So I had them spread out. I didn't like the way they were spread out. Well, I should say I had one that was spread out, and then I had one that was close together with the poles. And I looked at them side by side and went, I like them closer together. So that's what I ended up doing. Again, I don't plan things out. At least not on paper. I really do like going with the flow with my builds. I like being very fluid and organic and being able to just change things on the fly and not have to worry about, oh man, I spent so many hours putting all that on paper, and I racked my brain working out all the details on paper just to transfer it over here, and I don't like it now that it's in the game. I don't want to do that. So I'd rather waste the time in the game screwing around with ideas and see what I like. And so right there, what we saw was I just changed the colors of each little set of sunshades. And I'm looking around and I'm looking around and I'm like, I'm missing something. I want to make some signage. So if you didn't catch the last video, one side is going to be devoted just kind of in honor of Bindi Irwin, Steve Irwin's daughter. The other side is going to be in honor of Steve Irwin himself. So as you can see here, I put Bindi's Walkabout. And so it's just one of those things. I thought it'd be really nice. It'd be kind of a really sweet thing to do because the Irwins, I know a lot of you who are watching this, if you're younger, you probably really don't know the impact that Steve and his family have had on the conservation family around the world. You weren't there, you weren't alive to watch his videos as they came out. Nowadays you can find some on YouTube, but you're not getting the real full effect, man. This is when Steve died. He was the only celebrity that I actually cried when he died. Steve Irwin, he was crazy, he was out there, but he was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about wildlife through Steve. And his family continued Steve's work, so I wanted to honor the Irwin family in this build in a small way. So that's why one side is Bindi's Walkabout, this side is Steve's Walkabout. And I just changed the color of the little arrow, just something, just to separate the two. And yeah, I like the way it came out. It's kind of cartoonish, but it's also playful and fun. And at this point I was like, okay, I need to put some benches in. So I start thinking about the path management at this point. And I did forget in this video, I did forget to put donation bins in, which I'm gonna have to do to make it more realistic. And I'm looking up and I'm like, man, I'm thinking about 100 different things with this build right now. I saw that our supports were right in the middle of our under pathway there. So I moved that over, and instead of duplicating those poles and driving them into the ground, I decided, this area is kind of devoid of landscaping, so I'm just going to throw in some rocks to add to the landscaping, throw in some foliage. You're going to see I add quite a bit of foliage to Bindi's Walkabout. And in the next video, I will be focusing on Steve's Walkabout. But I really wanted to go through and make sure Bindi's Walkabout was good, 100%, the way I wanted it to look. And so I just decided, what else can I do? This looks... There's a lot of open space, a lot of space that koalas really, if we're honest, they're not going to like. So I'm making plans in my mind at this point on what I'm going to do out there, but I wanted to take a break from that. So I decided I was going to throw in some vending machines. I got rid of the Cosmic Cow thing. And I ended up going with a Monsieur Fritz. Because, you know, why not? That's like my answer to everything. Why not? You know? For those of you who don't know me in real life, I'm very carefree. I play this game like I live my life. I don't plan anything out. If I want to go for a drive, I don't have a destination. I just start driving and see where the road takes me. And I have found amazing, absolutely amazing things by doing that. And yeah, I'm just carefree like that. I just go. So I changed up the background there, and over here I'm like, I'm going to put a restaurant up here. Then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to put a restaurant up here. Mainly because it stuck through the roof, and I didn't want to have to figure out how to redo the roof. So, out of laziness, I ended up making that a garden up there, which we'll see shortly. But I throw in some more vending machines because, again, why not? And I can't even remember what vending machines I put up there. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. I throw some trash cans, throw in some benches, and then, as you can see here, I did a cut there. I got the soil in place, and now I'm starting to put in the veg. Seeing what trees fit, what trees didn't fit, and just really just throwing in a lot of garden work. Getting the angle just right with the camera is kind of difficult, as I found out. And what I noticed was that I was making symmetrical sides, and I didn't want the two sides to be symmetrical. So I did do some changes. There is a lot of repetition, but I end up fixing that. I end up breaking it up. So I wanted this to look like it was planted, but I wanted it to look like it was planted in a haphazardous way. Just letting things grow and do whatever they do. You know, plants doing what plants do. So, you know, it's just like, you know, what goes here, what would look good here. I want to mix in some color, so I'm going to add in this blue, some of these greens. I can't remember if I put in more of those red flowers. Yeah, I did. Okay. I really love the colors that they have for this set, this biome and continent. I forgot that I had the staff guy from that store that I put down, so I just fired him. And now I'm like, you know, I should probably put up some education boards. And at this point, again, I really don't have a plan for education boards, so I just kind of started going. I was like, hey, you know, we'll just throw in the TV, we'll throw in the Australian backer, and let's support it with these poles that we have everywhere else in this build. So that's what I did. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to use that. It's simple. It sticks with the theme. That's what I'm going to do. As you can see, I decorated that back wall as well. And I'm looking at maybe trimming out the building a little bit. And I don't know. I still may do something, but as of right now, I'm going to leave it. But anyways, I'm looking at this, and I make it I group it together. And so right now I'm just putting these education boards all around the park. I believe I focused on the inside and on Bindy's area, Bindy's walkabout. Just in random spots. I don't want them everywhere because they really do look kind of out of place. They're bulky. And I don't want guests stopping all the time to read these stupid little signs. So I just put them in random spots, you know, every few meters or so. Just, yeah, here looks good. Yeah, here looks good. And that was really kind of what was going in my mind was, here looks good. And so I just put it there. Yeah, here looks good. I'll put it right there. Looks good. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just how I do things, guys. I know for some people like Pausley, it would drive him insane if him and I were to work on a project together. He would despise me because I'd be like, whatever, let's just do it, you know. And I'm not ragging on Pausley at all, guys. Please don't think that I am. He's a great guy, but I know that he's really OCD about things. He has to plan everything out. I mean, him and I are just two polar opposites when it comes to how we play the game. So I know I would drive him insane if we were to ever work on a project together. Which is probably why we never will work on a project together. I love you, Pausley. If you happen to see this, man, I do love you, brother. But yeah. So here is just like, I need to add some more stuff. It's just, I didn't like how plain everything was looking, especially this back area here. It was way too plain. So I decided to throw in a whole bunch of different trees and bushes. I may come through off camera, add some rocks and stuff like that, just to make it so it's not all, foliage, which right now is really what it is. It's mostly just foliage. And so it's, yeah, I know I'm pretty close to the end of this video for the commentary. I'm just throwing down some waste bins because I got a notification saying there was a lot of litter in the park. I was like, oh, great. That's what I get for opening up the park right away without double checking everything. So I'm throwing waste bins down everywhere. I even throw some on the bridge eventually. And I may go through and change up the colors on these. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Whether it happens or not, we'll find out. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I like this. But anyways, guys, I know that this video is going to end here in about a minute. So I will say, if you want me to take a look at anything that you have created, jump in my Discord. A link will be in the description below. You'll see it under something in there. I think it's submissions. Please drop a link into what you want me to look at in there. And as always, be safe, be cool, have fun. Thank you so much for watching, and we're going to catch you next time.